Welcome to For Such a Time as This. We are taping this with our other ministry at New Hope Community Church, our school task force, because once again, D211, District 211 in the state of Illinois, is causing a ruckus yet again. And with that, we'll turn it over to our leader today, Vicki. Vicki, what's going on in D211?
Well, it's not good. As we know, they've had this horrific policy in place for a number of years for the students who identify as transgender, giving them full unrestricted access to locker rooms and bathrooms and the sports teams. So what's caused the latest ruckus is last weekend, a bunch of parents started reaching out to leaders in the, other parents in the community who have been leaders on issues like this and worked on school board campaigns. And these were parents of girls who had tried out for the volleyball team at Conant High School, the freshman volleyball team. And these are girls who had played club volleyball and, were very skilled. And they were upset because a boy was given one of the spots on the volleyball team. And apparently this boy, it's being reported in many areas, many locations, that he's 6'4", which might have something to do as to why certain people wanted him on the team.
Yeah,
Yet
6'4".
he has zero volleyball experience.
He's never played volleyball before in his life.
Right.
But at 6'4", you can't coach 6'4".
Mm-hmm.
And being a male, whew.
So parents were rightfully upset, and so then what happened, also it was reported, so Lori Higgins of Breakthrough Ideas put quickly together an article that we posted on our school task force Facebook page. You can go find it there, or you can go to breakthrough-ideas.com for it, about Illinois District 211's Conant High School violates Trump executive order, and girls' intrinsic rights. So that article got put together, started getting shared, and word was getting out what was going on. Again, these girls were upset. Parents were upset. The girls were, one of the spots was given away, and then there happened to be a school board meeting already on the schedule before any of this blew up. It was already on the calendar, just a special meeting the school board was having. But as we know, every meeting has public comment. So this meeting took place 2 days ago.
That would be the 20th, August the 20th.
So there was a
2025.
Meeting, and there was public comment, and the three of us went. And Teri, what were your thoughts on the board meeting?
Well, you know what? I want to back up a little bit, I think, because I was listening to you talk, I was just thinking, this is school policy here.
What specifically is school policy?
That boys who think they are girls are allowed unrestricted access to restrooms and locker rooms. That's crazy. And this has been school policy since 2017. Was it was restricted access from 2015 to 2017, but then in 2017 they granted males full access to girls' locker rooms and private spaces. So here's my thing. Do the parents were they unaware of this? I mean,
may have been, because your kid wasn't in high school back in 2017 if they're in high school now.
That's true. Maybe.
Well, I'm not saying
it was a big deal in the community at the time. There were hundreds of parents at the first school board meeting we had about this to protest.
But didn't we make an issue of it as a school task force with our door hangers as well?
Oh,
we
yeah,
sure
in the
have.
election.
So there's really no excuse for.
Yeah, they should know.
So
they should know.
At some level, I'm just frustrated because I don't know if parents just think, well, it's not likely to happen to me. It's okay. I'll let it go. I'll let it happen, as long as it doesn't happen to me. So
It's very selfish.
I'm not trying to beat down parents. On the other hand, I think that is the reason it's happening. is
because you think they didn't mind it happening to other kids, but when it happens to my kid, now I'm going to get involved.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
That's kind of what's happening.
So that's just an aside. The meeting was bananas. There were more. I mean,
I've never seen it that bad before.
It was hostile. There were a lot of people there from apparently the LGBTQ community.
They must have rallied.
Yes, they must have rallied people to show up, and they were clearly angry. There was a woman behind me that,
And Teri, why exactly were they angry? Do you know why they were angry?
Well, because of the terrible things that people like you, like us, believe that boys don't belong in girls' locker rooms on a sports team.
That's what they're angry about.
And that is so
along
mean.
With the delusion.
That's so mean. That is just you're causing kids to commit suicide. It's, again, we're not dealing with people who can have the capacity to reason, which is another point.
That's very dangerous what you're saying. You've got a group of people who are animated with anger, and you cannot reason with them. How does that end? How does that end? Exactly. And I wanted to talk about, they're angry because we think if you have male genitalia, that makes you a male. And they're angry at that.
Right. Yes.
Even if you remove your genitalia, you're still male.
Yeah, your DNA is male.
Right.
And we think that girls' spaces are for girls. And girls' sports teams should be limited to girls.
We believe in Title IX. Crazy.
But they think that he is really a woman. He's really a woman.
I don't know if they even think that far.
I don't know either. But they
because how could they? But they do think that what we're doing is absolutely vicious to kids to
and we're gonna have a video
kids
on
like
that.
this who are confused about their sexual or about their gender.
We're gonna have a video on that. I just want to excuse me. I just want to inform you all that if you have any questions, anything you would like to share, our email is schooltaskforce@newhopeforyou.org. School Task Force, it's up there, and you can see it. schooltaskforce@newhopeforyou.org. I went also on Wednesday, and one of the tack I wanted to take, again, was to simply move it into the realm of, I don't know how else to say this, reality. That God created them male and female. And that once you start to argue that, you start to argue against the foundation of all societies, no matter whether it's ancient Greek, ancient Rome, ancient Egyptian, it doesn't matter. God created them male and female. And once you start to attack that, man, everything's on the table. Reality is thrown up in the air. And I mean, honestly, what's true?
Right.
What's false? I mean, your DNA, many, many moons ago, I did graduate with a BS in biology.
I don't think you need a BS in biology to understand
but
this.
My point is, if you deny that, do you realize how much you have to throw out? Everything in biology goes. There's no DNA. Take everything you know about DNA and throw it in the garbage can.
You're rejecting reality.
You're rejecting reality. You're rejecting everything. Yep. But they're angry at us if we simply believe in basic biology.
So yeah, there were 9 speakers, for the privacy and protection of the girls and their safety, and there were 8 speakers. And the difference between the two groups was clearer than it's ever been, because our side was very calm and showed compassion for all students and just, talked about policy. We did not attack this particular student because, it's not his fault that he was groomed and manipulated and is confused.
No.
He needs, help getting to the root of his issues, and he needs prayer, and he needs love, time, and compassion. And the other side, they accused us of saying and doing things that never happened.
They always do that.
Over and over. We are dehumanizing.
They refused to address the actual issue. They showed zero concern for the girls. Zero. I mean, it was stark, the contrast.
It was. And so one of the best speakers we're going to play now, last Wednesday was Teri, who welcomed the new Superintendent Campbell and showed her the reality of the situation she's walking into. And she's been, 2-3 months? This is only her second school board meeting, I'm told?
Second or third.
Second or third.
Yeah.
And wow, did she know she was getting involved in this? Well, Teri brought her up to speed.
As some of you know, my name is Teri Paulson, and I'm a resident of this district. Welcome, Dr. Campbell, to Township High School District 211. Tonight, I'd like to introduce you to some recent history in our district so that you may better understand your role in its future. In 2015, parents found out that unbeknownst to them, the district had for months been allowing a teenage boy to use the girls' locker room during swim class. Although hundreds of parents and community members showed up to protest and urge the school board to put an end to this insanity, they were ignored. Naked teenage boys and girls have been together in our locker rooms ever since. Dr. Campbell, if you believe it's morally permissible for schools to place naked boys and girls together in locker rooms, enabling sexual harassment and without parental knowledge, and if you think it's acceptable to lie to a confused teenager while requiring all students, faculty, and staff to do the same, you are well suited for District 211. We now have a male student on the girls' volleyball team at Conant High School, despite the fact that it has been amply demonstrated that men have a significant advantage over females in athletics, and indeed present a danger to females because of their superior strength. This very situation resulted in a teenage girl in North Carolina being left with permanent head injuries after being spiked in the face by a teenage boy. Dr. Campbell, that if you think one student's feelings are more important than the physical safety of another, and if you think that it's fair that positions on girls' sports teams are taken away from girls and given to boys, you will love it here. If you're just here to place a capstone on your career and collect a very generous retirement package after a few years of service, you are also in the right place, as this has been the historic norm in this district for decades. I hope better things for you. If you believe that the priority of a public school should be to make sure that students have a basic education,
you have 1 minute remaining.
You are in the wrong place. I looked up the Illinois school report card today. Less than half of all D211 students are proficient in math and English. Less than half. If you want students to be capable of critical thought and able to accurately examine competing points of view, then you are most assuredly in the wrong place. There is only one point of view in this district, and no one steps out of line. Two kinds of people work here: radical social engineers and cowards who simply follow the path of least resistance. If you think the examples I have given here are appalling and that public schools have veered far away from their primary mission, you have a rough road ahead, but we will do everything we can to support you. Dr. Campbell, welcome to Township High School District 211.
Teri, tell us what you really think.
That was outstanding.
You know, after so many years, you don't tiptoe around. You could tell people who just been woken up, and ones have been dealing with this for a while.
I just want to say, the district has not put the video up, so thank you to Moms for Liberty. Mm-hmm. We actually got that off of their website, who live streamed it, and it's up there.
Moms for Liberty, Lake County.
How did they do that? They live streamed it.
Well, it's live streams, but then it takes time for them to put it up.
Okay, I
understand. They live streamed it and they put it up. So thank you very much, Moms for Liberty. Teri, maybe you could be just a little bit more direct next time.
It doesn't. You know what? It doesn't make any difference whatsoever. How you say it makes zero difference.
Maybe we need to pray for
this. It might have made a difference to her.
You think
she's
so?
brand new.
She's brand new.
Maybe
That's what I was hoping.
Maybe so.
But the board, the administrators.
Oh, come on. Come on.
The people who are sitting with us on the other side. There's nothing going to penetrate.
We also do have one new board
fog.
member who I believe is likely to be reasonable on this topic, so that's good too.
So now we got to still
exactly
right.
It's still, but this should be a 9-0
of course
issue. But the fact that it's not, it shows you just how morally corrupt they are. I mean, think about this. I mean, you know, there's going on now. Trump is going out, and with the whole D.C. It is August 22nd, and now you have black people saying, "Let me get this straight. Trump is putting troops in the D.C. area. Forget politics. Blacks are saying thank you. The Democrats are pro-crime. They're upset that he's cleaning up crime. This may be even worse. They're upset at us because we believe that people with male genitalia are male. They're literally angry at us.
Something that's been true for thousands
Something that's been
of
true
years.
long before Trump came along, long before Julius Caesar, Ramses the. I mean, it was true when Adam and Eve was in a garden.
And it makes us evil, hateful people. They truly do believe that.
Yep.
It's amazing. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. And I will say this again. This is a new phenomenon within the culture, because I've talked to other historians. Has there ever been any culture before the last 30 years, 50 years, however long this has been going on, in ancient Greece, Persia, Roman, you name it, Egypt, you name it, China, that as a policy, now you had some people off on the side, but as policy of the state, embraced the concept of transgenderism. I couldn't find any. No. And I've asked other historians, they couldn't find any either. This is brand new to the human race, that as a policy, as government policy, we're accepting the fact, or we're accepting the notion that males can become females and females can become males.
It's state law in Illinois.
Yes.
This is state law.
It's unbelievable. This is new. So everyone who's calling us hateful bigots, then you know what? The rest of humanity since 1990 and before were hateful bigots.
Right.
Because they never came up. But we're so smart
and the
now.
women who fought for sex-based rights and gave their lives, you know, for women to get their rights, I guess they were
throw it in the
hateful
garbage
bigots
can.
too.
Yeah, throw it in the garbage can. I mean, they've literally taken Title IX and flipped it on its head.
And that's why I'm at the point. You cannot reason with these people. There's they have no capacity whatsoever to think logically.
No.
The only way this can be turned around is these people have to be defeated. And the only way this can be turned around is for people who can think, who are decent, to be put in positions of power. That's it. Yeah. And you just have to shut these people down.
And you know what? Let's just call it for what it is. The definition of insanity is someone is not in touch with reality.
Right.
You have to call it for what it is. Yep. It's insanity.
Yep.
This is insane. If you believe that a male can become a female and a female become a male, and you're going to literally ignore the science, this chromosome, you're insane.
And you're going to force other people to join you in your delusion.
Yeah.
Correct.
By force of law and school policy.
That somehow if someone believes something with all their heart and their mind, their feeling, that makes it reality, you're insane. I want to really feel and think that I'm Elon Musk for one day, and I want to make withdrawal from my accounts, which for one day they won't let me because it's not true. It's not true.
Right.
Well,
which is why it has to be defeated.
It has to be defeated.
It can't be reasoned with. You can't talk people out of it. It just has to be defeated.
No.
Because gender dysphoria is not new, but the way the adults are dealing with it now is completely new and horrific, because evil, greedy people are making money off of these vulnerable kids. Yeah. It's beyond words.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
And that's probably actually, I've come to the conclusion that's the largest part of the
money.
No, not necessarily money, but I want to say that people who they are willing to go along, take the path of least resistance, regardless of the outcome, regardless of how it hurt, how many people get hurt, and how badly they are hurt. I think that is the vast majority of people. They want to preserve their own personal comfort, regardless of the cost.
Regardless of whether or not it's true.
Well, that's one of the costs too, to truth itself, and how kids get hurt. it doesn't matter because I'm just going to preserve my own piece of my kingdom. And I think I understand that in an unbeliever. I do not. In a Christian, that is shameful.
I don't understand it within a Christian either, Terry.
That's what I'm
right?
saying. It's shameful for a Christian.
Christians don't do that.
Well, okay. We have a lot of people who call themselves Christians who are doing the same thing.
And if you're a Christian and you're afraid to stand up for truth, you're afraid to stand up for what God has said is true, go back and look at Mark 8:38. He who is ashamed of me and my words, and the sinful and adulterous generation, I, the Son of Man, shall be ashamed of you when I come in glory with my holy angels. Again, a Christian who is afraid to be a witness for Christ, I would question your relationship with God Almighty. Because this is an issue of sanity.
Yeah, and I just think of, we've multiple times we've tried to reach out to pastors in our local area about this issue. You better believe I'm going there. Yep.
We have.
I am just.
We have.
And they say nothing, with just like one or two exceptions.
Yep.
They do nothing in their own community.
Yep.
Is that a Christian? Whose kingdom are you furthering? Because I just want to say one more thing. I'm doing a lot of talking.
That's okay.
I wasn't planning to do that, but I've been listening to podcasts about the lives of Christian women over the centuries. Various Christian women. Some of them are missionaries. Some of them were they were just Christian women within the church during a time that the church needed to be called to account. There's all kinds of different lives, and the one thing that really stands out about these women is the sacrifices they were willing to make to further God's kingdom.
Yep.
And I just think that we have almost completely lost that vision, that He is worthy. That
there's a requirement.
It requires sacrifice. Yeah. I'm convicted myself hearing these stories and these biographies. Whose kingdom are you trying to build here, Terry? Because it really doesn't work to try to build both very well.
I don't think you can. Yeah. If anyone wishes to follow me, he must first deny himself, take up his cross, and then follow me.
And we say that all the time, but we don't. We mostly don't apply it. I'm talking about the church, the small C church or whatever.
If you're a Christian and you attend a church and your church is not involved in that which is right in our face, the battle in culture that God created the male and female, if your church can't stand strong and say that proud and loud, you might need to go find another church.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because the fact that an organization calling themselves a church has remained silent has given rise to this next clip we're going to play. We might have to stop this a few times and just analyze it a little bit, but this is one of a gentleman who spoke on the other side. And I really think, if you listen to this, I really think he's trying to make the insane sound sane. Listen.
Justin O'Rourke, followed by Jane Van.
Thank you. My name is Justin O'Rourke. I'm a business psychology doctoral candidate, Palatine resident. I live here with my wife, Erica, and an organizer of the Community Mental Health Project, the group that brought the Community Mental Health Board to Palatine Township. I'm here today because I stumbled upon a Facebook conversation.
Stop right there. He starts off by saying he is all these mental health accolades that he has, right? Mental health.
Right.
You have a 6'4" boy thinking he's a girl.
And this guy's going to straighten
and
it
he's going to, because he has mental health on his side. Mental health.
Yeah. That's not coincidental,
no,
by the way, but that's a whole other topic.
Let's continue.
In which grown adults were trying to draw people to this meeting to target local girls volleyball player who identifies as transgender. The Facebook post referenced a story about a North Carolina high school student volleyball player named Payton McNabb, who got a concussion from a volleyball hitting her in the head. The ball happened to be hit by a girl who identified as transgender. Since 2012, more than 214,000 high school and college women's volleyball players have been injured. Almost every one of those injuries involves cisgendered peers. So why is no one calling for the cisgendered athletes involved in those injuries to be banned from sports?
All right, let's stop here. Then why aren't we calling for the other cis? I hate that word. Why are we not calling real girls to be?
Because people get injured in volleyball.
Yes.
Girls playing other girls, there can still be injuries. Somehow that makes it okay.
Yeah, that's the logic.
Women's
you know
teams.
It just happened. I saw the interview of that girl, Payton. What's her name again? Payton.
Payton McNabb.
Yeah. She talked about how that ball came down on her. Oh my! It just happened.
Just happened.
Just happened. And so all the other injuries. See, that's the logic. So all the other injuries were real women, and so why aren't you calling for the real girls to be banned? Because they're girls.
Because it's sports and people do get hurt.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean you make it.
They're a lot more likely to get hurt if you got a 6'4" boy with a 70-mile-an-hour spike.
All right.
Hello.
Here we go. Let's continue.
Some commenters on the Facebook post claimed that parents were pulling their kids from the team and that kids were choosing to not participate. It seems that history repeats itself. In 1947, when black athletes like Jackie Robinson joined all-white league, excuse me, Mr. President, could you?
Let's stop right there. There was a movement in the African American community that crossed both Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative, and the saying was encapsulated with this: don't compare your sin with my skin. The mere fact that he is trying to equate transgender ideology to skin color
is insane.
That is absolutely insane. I hope and I pray that this boy comes to his senses and he comes to a point where he recognizes he's a male, and you know what, I was just foolish and I was crazy and I'm no longer transgender. He can make that choice. Many transgender people make those choices, right?
Yeah.
But what's the percentages again? Like 90 something?
The vast majority, if they're left alone.
If they're left alone, right?
To go through puberty, over 80% identify with their biological sex.
You can wait from here until the Lord comes back. I cannot come to my senses and recognize that I am Asian.
Right. Some things are immutable.
Some things are immutable, but that's what they try to do. And again, whenever you say this, it's a dishonest argument that behavior can be compared to skin color. It's insane. And I tell you this. Even liberal blacks don't like when you do that. Mm-hmm. They don't like it.
I can understand why.
They don't like it. This is foolish. But here you are. You have a white male who has all these mental health accolades and he can't see the insanity in what he's saying. No. Unbelievable, and it's a dishonest argument. Let's continue.
Kids were choosing to not participate. It seems that history repeats itself. In 1947, when black athletes like Jackie Robinson joined all-white league, excuse me, Mr. President, could you call? In 1947, when black athletes like Jackie Robinson joined all-white leagues, some players refused to play. After the 1954 ruling in Brown v. Board of Education, some white parents pulled their kids out of public schools rather than having them attend alongside black students. And in the 1970s, some parents removed their sons from Little League baseball when girls were first allowed to join. The resistance was couched in language about tradition and safety, much like these arguments about trans athletes. This is not about safety at all. This is about an unwillingness to share space and opportunity with people who aren't like us. This is about prejudice and bigotry. A better use of this board's time would be to address how to protect trans students from abusive community members like this.
So he says, no. We should just be spending time how to protect. This. We're not going to talk about whether or not it's right or wrong. We're going to spend time how to protect the 6'4" boy who thinks he's a girl. That's where we should spend our energies.
Well, and I think that is what our side actually is doing.
We
are the ones protecting them.
He doesn't understand
because we aren't pushing for hormones and surgery that will sterilize them for life.
This is insanity.
Yeah, he believes every word of what he just said. I'm sure.
And he's turning back. He's so, again, mental health, he's so fragile. Any disagreement behind him, he has to address with anger and I think in order to turn a corner, we must call it what it is. This is insanity. This is an insane argument. We'll finish up.
Mental health advocate, I have to point out that what these people are doing to kids in our community is reprehensible. 1 in 10 high school students in suburban Cook County report seriously considering suicide in the last year. Transgender youth are 2 to 2.5 times more likely to commit suicide, have a depressive symptom and suicidal thoughts than their peers. 18% of LGBT youth have attempted suicide, about twice that of the general population. This is based on social rejection, bullying, harassment, and discrimination, shaming and targeting transgender teenagers in a public.
No, it's based on not getting to the root cause of their distress.
It's based on people like this guy.
Yeah. Because so many, when they start down this road of hormones and surgery, they have so much regret and they're still suicidal, or more of them are even more suicidal because you haven't addressed the root problem, and now they've mutilated their bodies and they can't fix it. And so they're even more miserable after the fact.
You know what? The root cause, we talked about the root cause. I'm basing what I'm going to say. I'm going to quote Camille Powyer, who was on the Dennis Prager show many, many years ago. She was part of the LGBTQ movement back in 1969 at Stonewall. She was part of the original. She said that everyone that she knows of, this is Camille Powyer, look it up. Everyone she knows of that's part of the LGBTQ community is there because of a result of, her words, trauma in their childhood. Trauma. That's what she said. And when she said that, Dennis Prager said, whoa, wait a minute, Camille. Is that true with you? And she said, yes, it's true with me also. She's a lesbian. She's an art professor at the University of Penn for many, many years. I think she's still living. I haven't heard that she died.
Yeah,
but
I think she is too.
She's still living. That's the root cause, Vicki, I believe.
Yeah.
Again,
and
I've
Beckett Cook, who we've talked about.
Who's that?
Remember Beckett Cook? We did his testimony. He was homosexual out in Hollywood, and then he came to Christ.
Yeah.
And he said, he did a whole thing on what he thinks the root causes are. And I do remember one of the things he said that was true for him is a smothering mother and a distant father.
Mm-hmm.
That when you don't have that son-father close relationship, that can lead down it, and the mother is too smothering, that can cause real problems.
I've worked in the mental health for years. I know other people who've worked in mental health for decades. It's counselors. They agree it's trauma in your childhood. That's how it comes. That's the root cause. But their solution is to what? Not to deal with the root cause. Chop off body parts and pump full of drugs. That's their solution. Back it up a little bit. We'll continue.
And their peers, 18% of LGBT youth have attempted suicide, about twice that of the general population. This is based on social rejection, bullying, harassment, and discrimination. Shaming and targeting transgender teenagers in a public forum isn't just cruel, it directly impacts mental health vulnerabilities that the LGBTQ+ youth are in danger from having. I encourage this board to review what's being done to protect LGBTQ+ athletes from abusive coaches, peers, and fans like this. Moreover, I ask you to ensure students in LGBTQ community have access to the mental health support they need to endure the disgraceful behavior of adults like this. Thank you.
We are disgraceful for saying that God created the male and female. That's what it boils down to. We're disgraceful.
And that we want a policy that protects all kids equally.
Yeah.
Instead of what they're doing now, which is pitting students against each other. And
it seems like, correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like he's basing that community's mental health on our acceptance of it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If that's the case, they will never be.
Right. If your mental emotional stability is based on what other people
say, you will never be stable.
You'll never be stable. Mm-hmm. You will never, ever, ever, ever be stable, because true Christians will never, ever, ever accept it. Whereas the reality of Christianity is our mental health is based on God's truth and God's truth alone. Not on other men, not on other people's opinions, but on God and God's reality and truth. And I really think unless we get to a point where we call it for what it is, this is insane. This is insane that somehow you can debate whether or not a 6'4" boy walking around a locker room with 14-year-old girls, 15, 16, 17-year-old girls is somehow right and proper and okay.
That's why we can't debate it. If you debate, you've lost.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's no debate to be had. It just has to be defeated, like I said before.
Right.
That's
right.
it.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
So if you are a parent in District 211 and you want to do something, which we strongly, strongly encourage you,
please,
because you're the only ones, you're the ones that need to do something, the ones who have kids in the district right now, you absolutely need to file an OCR complaint, Office of Civil Rights complaint, and you need to push for policy change within the district. Now that we have the presidential, Trump issued the executive order, so the federal government is, the current administration is on the correct side, the side of fairness now, so we need more OCR complaints filed. There is also a possibility, of legal action. And you can reach out to us if you, have any questions or need help with those things. And also in the interim, there is an option in Illinois to homeschool PE class. So you need to get your daughters out of these locker rooms.
Right.
We found out some information this morning. It's really, really disturbing. You really need to get your daughters out of these locker rooms. They are not safe places. They are not good places for daughters. And if the only reason your daughter's in the locker room is PE, you can solve that by homeschooling PE. It is absolutely an option. So you can reach out to us at schooltaskforce@newhopeforyou.org.
But what about the other girls' sports? Whether they play basketball or swimming or...
Yep, that's a problem.
Volleyball is
Yep, it needs to change. This policy is horrific, and it needs to change.
Schooltaskforce@newhopeforyou.org. If you have any concerns or questions or need any help, go ahead and email us there. We will try our best to point you in the right direction. But we've already talked about the reality that churches have failed us. That's sad, and I think you also talked about parents. I'll say this from a father's perspective. There is no way that my daughter would be in that locker room with that boy.
Right.
There was 0% chance. I don't think you could do this down in Louisiana and Mississippi. I don't think you could do that.
Maybe not. I hope not.
You have pockets here and there, obviously, with liberal strongholds like Austin, Texas. You can do that. Try that in rural Texas. It won't work because you have dads who would not allow this. Where are the dads?
Right.
I think just
in 211.
So many of them have just been emasculated.
Yeah.
They really have. But there's no excuse for Christian men.
There's no excuse for
there's
dads,
no for any
Teri.
of them, but I do think
get
they've
it.
been emasculated one way or the other.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm at a loss. I don't. Yeah. That's terrible. Last words.
I think that's about
Yep,
it.
that's
Thanks
about
for
it.
listening.
Yes, thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.
Oh, and the next District 211 board meeting is September 18th.
September 18th. Okay. Till then, thank you, Teri. Thank you, Vicki. Thank you all for listening. Till next time.